Okay, let's be real for a second. We are all so tired of those pointless, just exhausting arguments over what's true and what isn't, right? Especially online, it always feels like this battle of opinions where absolutely nobody wins. But what if there was a better way? A way to take apart misinformation without all the shouting and drama, but with just precision. All right, let's get into it. So, first things first, you got to understand the battlefield. Misinformation, it isn't powerful because it's super logical. No, it's powerful because it's fast and it hits you right in the feelings. It completely bypasses our rational brain and just hooks directly into our fear, our anger, or our sense of loyalty. And, this is the trap we all fall into. Our gut reaction is to fight fire with fire, to come back with even more emotion, more speed, a quicker denial. But does that ever really work? Or are we just throwing more fuel on the fire? There is a much more effective way to handle this, one that completely shifts the dynamic from an emotional shouting match into a calm, structured analysis. It's a system, and it's designed to put a claim under pressure, just to see if it holds up. So, why does our default reaction, just arguing back, fail so spectacularly? Well, it's because of a little something called the opinion stalemate. Now, check this out, because the shift here is everything. When you just say, that's not true, what you're really doing is setting up a conflict of opinion versus opinion. It's your word against theirs, and you're at a deadlock. But when you change your response to, interesting, let's test it, you reframe the entire conversation. It's not about who's right anymore. It's about whether the claim itself can survive being looked at closely. You're moving from a battle of wills to a test of structure. And that brings us to the core of this whole thing, a really powerful 5-part system for bringing a little clarity into all the chaos. This system has a name, Qhiyas-Vathren, which you can think of as the alignment trial. And the goal here is not to win an argument, not at all. It's simply to test if a claim actually aligns with reality on a bunch of different levels. It's a process of verification, not a declaration of your personal beliefs. So the system is built on 5 different tests, and each one asks a totally different kind of question. First up, you've got the TECA test. This one is all about the hard evidence. Can you see it, touch it, prove it? Second is the SARN test, which checks against real lived human experience. Third, the Qhiyas-Vathren test, which kind of zooms out and asks, does this idea hold up across different groups outside of its own echo chamber? Fourth is the Reuven test, which looks at the consequences. What actually happens if we all start believing this is true? And then finally, the Vathren test brings it all home and asks the biggest question. Do all of these layers line up? Okay, let's see this in action. Imagine a rumor starts spreading about a leader. For the TECA test, we ask, okay, where are the records? Where's the proof? And we find it's pretty weak. For the SARN test, we ask, who saw this firsthand? And all we get are kind of mixed, uncertain stories. For Qhiyas-Vathren, we look around and notice, it's really only this one specific group repeating the story. And for the Reuven test, we think, what happens if we act on this? Well, it would cause panic and destroy trust. You can literally see how the claim just starts to fall apart under this structured pressure. So the conclusion you end up with isn't, you're wrong. It's, the claim does not align. It's a systemic rejection. The claim is revealed for what it is, just an appearance, with nothing solid holding it up. And that is so much more powerful than just saying, nah-ah. So let's dig into why this system is so powerful. It's because it rests on this really elegant philosophical idea that actually solves a huge debate about what truth even is. See, on one side, you've got the idea of objective truth. This is the stuff that exists out there whether we believe in it or not. Like gravity, it's just waiting to be discovered. On the other side, you have constructivism, which argues that our understanding of concepts like, say, justice is built or constructed by our society, our language, our perceptions. And these two ideas usually seem like they're totally at war with each other. But here's the brilliant part. This system doesn't pick a side. It actually integrates both of them. The TECA test, that honors the objective layer. It demands hard facts. But the Vathren and Qhiyas-Vathren tests, they honor the constructive layer. They acknowledge that our lived experiences and our social agreements, those are real too. Real, robust truth, that's only achieved when all of these layers align perfectly. Of course, anytime you have a powerful tool, someone is going to try to break it. People who benefit from misinformation, they don't attack the truth head-on. No, that's too hard. Instead, they attack the conditions you need to test for truth. So here's the playbook. They'll use speed overload, pushing the idea that we have to act now, no time to think.
They'll use evidence fogging, throwing up a bunch of confusing junk to create the illusion of proof. They'll use what's called falseron, hijacking our empathy with fake stories. They'll try to split the crowd to make sure different perspectives can't talk to each other and align. And the big one, they'll create a moral panic to make the simple act of asking questions seem somehow wrong or even evil.
And this gets right to the heart of why this is all so difficult. The biggest defense a lie has isn't the lie itself. It's people's deep-seated fear of what it would mean to their identity if that thing they believe in turns out to be wrong.
So what does all this mean for us then? It means the real fight isn't about facts versus fiction. It's about who gets to control the process, the very structure of the conversation.
So the winning strategy is a complete shift in how you play the game. You stop arguing and you start testing. You stop accusing and you start asking very precise, very neutral questions. You don't try to dominate the conversation, you create a structure that lets the lie reveal its own emptiness. And maybe most importantly, you don't rush. You slow everything down and just let silence do some of the heavy lifting.
Because at the end of the day, truth is not a shouting match. It's not about who can be the loudest. It doesn't need anger or force to back it up. All it really needs is a structured space, a little bit of time, some consistent pressure, and the clarity to see what's actually there.
So the ultimate takeaway here is this. The next time you're faced with what feels like misinformation, resist that powerful urge to jump into the fight. The real power isn't in winning the argument. It's in changing the rules of the game by taking control of the structure of the conversation itself. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. While reality itself doesn't change just because we want it to, the stories we tell ourselves about it, our own constructed versions of reality, well, those are actually incredibly fragile. And with the right questions, they can be taken apart and rebuilt on a foundation that's much, much stronger.